Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome this fine Friday night, where apparently we don't do countdowns anymore. I am James Gisanti. This is the Mark It Down podcast, and we are here to cover TNA Emergence. TNA having one of their events, one of their not quite a pay-per-view, not quite, it's bigger than an Impact, lower than a high-tier pay-per-view. Emergence was a fun show, a little messy to say the least, but still a fun show. We had some memorable and in some ways historic matches that happened tonight. We're going to start from the bottom of the card. We're going to start all the way and go to our main event. So, we're going to go on a ride together this Friday night. Thank you, by the way, for being here. It's almost midnight on a Friday. If you guys are here, I appreciate you. If you're not, check us out tomorrow or in 13 minutes, I suppose. You know how it goes, guys. When I'm here by myself, I got to do everything by myself. I got to do the social media. I got to do all that. And yes, we're all over social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on X. And we are on Blue Sky. So check us out there, in addition to, of course, loving our time together here on YouTube. But as you give me that one moment, as you give me that one moment, there you go. All done. Now I did everything, and I could say I was a good producer boy for myself, in addition to being a good talent on screen, as they say, a face built for radio. But this was an interesting show. We're going to get into it match by match, obviously. A lot of good action, a lot of interesting action, a lot of interesting, I guess, I don't want to say interesting outcomes, but interesting ways we got there. So let's start out the gate. We had a TNA X Division Championship match as champion Leon Slater defended the title against Cedric Alexander. Now, I have been waiting for Cedric to get shots like this. I've been waiting for Cedric to be highlighted like this. Seeing him going for a title on pay-per-view in a singles match makes my heart happy. I am a huge, huge fan of Cedric Alexander, but obviously this is not his time. We are not here for Cedric Alexander right now. We are here for the youngest ever X Division champion, Leon Slater. This was a fun matchup between a veteran and I don't want to say a rookie, but a young talent in Leon. Lots of back and forth action, both men bringing it out. And quite frankly, this was the right match to start the show with. So many reversals, so many kickouts. At one point, I really did think the match was going to end beautifully with another picture perfect 450 swanton. I don't even know how to say that the right way because that move shouldn't exist. But my God, does Leon Slater make it look effortless. But he did get caught. He goes for that 450 swanton and he doesn't quite land it, or I guess he does land it, but he lands right on the waiting knees of Cedric Alexander. Interesting to see how they might be painting a picture where this gorgeous move, this move that has won Leon Slater the X Division Championship and has won him match after match, might not be the safest move for him to hit if he wants to guarantee these wins. Let's see if that's a story that continues here. It was enough to eventually get the win, putting down Cedric, getting the 1-2-3, and moving on to continuing this epic reign of his that started at Slammiversary. After this match, which I'm going through my notes right now, guys. I am sorry. It is a Friday night. I am tired. You know, these long weeks, these long wrestling weeks, they do get to us after a while, you know? But moving on, we go backstage where Trick Williams is being interviewed by Mean Gia Miller. And of course, he is flanked by First Class, Rich Homie Swan, and AJ Francis. Now, let me tell you guys, I'm not thrilled. First of all, I'm very, 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 very happy that Rich Swan is part of First Class again. He started that group with AJ Francis. He is a former TNA world champion. And more than anything, I'm happy that the man has conquered his troubles, his demons, and he's working on living a healthier, happier life. So happy for Rich Swan. So happy for this group to go back to how it originally was. But I'm not happy about how we got here. I'm not happy that it came at the expense of Casey Navarro getting hurt. Obviously, that happens. Stuff, it always sucks. It's, you know, sometimes it's just unavoidable. But while it was a nice pivot to bring Swan back, I don't think you needed to kick him out. I was really looking forward to the possibility of the three of them being a team together. Maybe Swan and Navarro being a tag team, allowing AJ Francis to pursue more singles action, more singles gold, maybe, between the international title, the X Division title, and being a fun occasional contender for the world title. I really didn't understand this move, but you know, it happens. I'm sure it's going to lead to a fun babyface return for Casey Navarro, who is just so good that it's not going to be hard to cheer him, obviously. But going back to this promo at hand, having Trick Williams, of course, as he calls himself, the man who's carrying two companies to TV deals. It's time to whoop Moose's ass, he says, while, of course, getting buttered up and hyped up by his First Class friends. Moving back to the ring, we had Matt Cardona taking on Mustafa Ali. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. I've missed the last couple of weeks of Impact. That's why we haven't done the Gym Pack Zone here on the pod as often as I would have liked. I've been watching here and there. I've been watching clips. And one of the things that's been interesting for me is this development with Mustafa's group, Order 4. It's him, the Great Hands, Tasha Steelz, and his Secret Service goons being led by Agent Zero. Now, I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to rip on anybody who's making the start. I don't want to contribute to somebody's lack of, I guess, crowd appreciation. But they're hyping this Agent Zero up as this monster of a security guard, this monster of a man, this giant of a man. And he's barely taller than Mustafa Ali. He wasn't taller than Cardona, which, again, we'll get into a little bit as well. But I wish they came up with something a little bit better for him than just being a silent security guard, a silent Secret Service agent, a silent fifth man. I think there was something they could have done to the same extent with just a slightly different character that doesn't rely on him looking imposing or intimidating when he's just not really carrying that. He just doesn't carry that gravitas, at least not to me. So I apologize if you guys are into him and I'm just not really feeling it yet. He's got a great move. He's got, you know, they're doing their best to hype him up, but so far for me, it's just not really landing. But this was, you know, a fun back and forth. Not quite as fun as obviously the opening match that had just so much energy, so much explosiveness to it. Really, the story here came at the end as Cardona was able to reverse a crucifix pin and get the pin himself, stealing it into a 1-2-3 and taking out Ali. He had this huge smile on his face. He knew he was the kid who was successfully able to steal the cookie from the cookie jar. But You do the crime, you do the time. And well, before Cardona could really celebrate, he was attacked by Order 4. Immediately, the Great Hands started jumping him, started attacking him. Agent Zero comes in. He hits the two-handed chokeslam onto Cardona. This brings out the system. This brings out Dirty Dango. This brings out Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and Alicia Edwards. As they're taking on the security, as they're taking on the Secret Service, the women are getting into it. The men are getting into it. This brings out AJ Francis and Rich Swann. The system had all the momentum, getting rid of Order 4, but First Class comes out, and we were supposed to have a match between AJ Francis and Rich Swann and Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, so they decided, let's just do it now. And boy, did they. Lots of distractions. Like, it's hard to rate this match. It's hard to talk fairly about this match. It wasn't bad by any stretch, but it was just sort of to keep the story going, I guess, in some ways. As we've seen all these groups in TNA starting to just combust and go after one another to decide who's got the true dominance in TNA. After, I don't want to say a one-sided affair, but they were able to isolate Brian Myers pretty early. Eddie put in the work in this match. If there's one thing I really, really, really want to hammer into this match, Eddie Edwards was on fire. I've always been a fan of Eddie, going back to like Ring of Honor, early days TNA, all that. And I won't say that I haven't enjoyed his more recent work in TNA, the stuff with the system, the stuff when he was with the Ring of Honor stable. It's just, you could tell he's slowed down a little bit. You could tell, he's a little bit older. But man, he was moving so smooth, so fast, so well, and it was really cool to see. It was a real blast to the past to see what felt like the Eddie Edwards of old in this matchup. Eventually, though, the numbers and, like I said, the shenanigans just became too much as the Secret Service get involved. Tasha Steelz gets involved. Eddie goes for a suicide dive onto the Great Hands, but Agent Zero grabs him, hits the double choke slam to the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring. Thank you, Michael Cole. He then rolls Eddie into the ring to be the victim of a huge choke slam of AJ Francis's, one of the most underrated big guys in professional wrestling, in my opinion. And that led to the 1-2-3 win for First Class. So maybe that's why they don't want him doing single stuff. These tag team matches are turning out to be his bread and butter, I guess. But more than anything, also, still really cool to see Rich Swann back in action on TV. I'm glad he's doing well. I'm glad he's doing better. And I do enjoy First Class, whatever form they're in. So really rooting for Casey Navarro to come back in some way to either feud with or rejoin. Doesn't matter. Wishing him a speedy recovery. Moving on. Ooh, I never even switched the ticker. That's on me, guys. Moving on, we had Sami Callihan taking on Mike Santana in what was a very hyped up match, a very emotional match, as this was being touted as, "Hi there, Tyler. Welcome. Hope you enjoyed Emergence tonight. If you did, let me know. We're moving through the show a little bit, but we appreciate having you here tonight. Thank you so much." But like I was saying about this match, it was being touted as Sami Callihan's possible retirement match. He's been saying for the last few weeks, he's been hyping up that if he lost to Mike Santana, if he couldn't beat a top tier caliber talent like Mike Santana, he couldn't keep it going. He doesn't want to keep it going anymore. So if he lost, he wanted to go out on his own terms. Let's see what Tyler has to say here. Tyler saying he thinks TNA is going to have a TV deal with the CW network soon. It's very possible. It's been highly publicized that TNA is looking for a new TV deal, is looking for a new network to call home. The CW has been one of the options that have been mentioned. We've heard A&E was another option for them at one point or another. It might still be. So we don't know, but we do know that TNA is aggressively looking for a new home. We obviously wish them well. We hope they find a place to land because we want to watch wrestling no matter the night, no matter the letters of the company. We want everyone to succeed, whether it's TNA or WWE or AEW or Ring of Honor or MLW or HOG, wherever you might be, whatever you might be watching, we want to see these companies succeed. So yeah, we'll see, Tyler, if they land on the CW network. But so going into this, Sami picks up the mic. He talks about being in this crowd, having his family, having his loved ones in the crowd, and that if he couldn't beat Mike Santana, he's going to leave his boots in the ring and call it a career. He then says, he then brings up the possibility to Mike. He puts the ball in his court. Why don't we turn this match into a Baltimore street fight? And there is no other way that someone like Sami Callihan should go out or should go down. So Mike Santana easily accepted. This turned into a Baltimore street fight. And man, did they take advantage of the stip? They made quick work of those lack of rules, bringing in weapons, bringing in a ferocity that this match could not have had in a regular singles match. There were paper cuts. There were staple guns. One to Santana's freaking armpit, which was just bleh, bleh. But Santana would just not stay down. He ate 2 pile drivers from Sami, 2 of his finishers, both times kicking out. You had to wonder if there was anything Sami could do to keep him down, but it just didn't seem like it. As the end approached, Santana hit a rolling cutter, only getting a 1 count, which was a little interesting because granted, I know that we're trying to make Sami look good in what could be his last match, building up the tension, but that's one of Santana's finishers, and kicking out at 1, and it wasn't even a hard kick out, like fighting spirit kick out. It was just a nonchalant kick out at 1. Interesting choice, and it gets more interesting as we proceed. What's Tyler saying here? I need to rewatch it now. I'm waiting until GCW versus JCW War Night 2. Okay. Well, I mean, we still appreciate you being here, Tyler. Thank you so much. And let me know what you think of that show, GCW versus JCW. Very cool. But after kicking out at 1 for the rolling cutter, we got to our finish as Santana hits the spin the block lariat. 1, 2, and right before the 3, like at 2.999, he kicks out, kind of, but the ref still calls for 3. And everyone looked confused. The crowd didn't know how to react. The wrestlers didn't know how to react. Santana looked kind of pissed. I saw some reports and I kind of looked for it myself and I saw it. He kind of was asking Sami, what was that? He did not look happy. He pays his respect to Sami after the match, giving him a fist bump before just getting out of the ring to just kind of get out of there, it looked like. Sami then takes a moment to unlace his boots and he leaves them in the mat, and that is the end of the Death Machine. The Death Machine is officially retired. Now, I've seen some speculation online that maybe this is going to be a pivot for Sami, that Sami himself is not retiring, but the Death Machine gimmick is going to retire. Sure. No offense to Sami. He's not old. He's 37. He can still wrestle for a lot of years. But I think we can all agree Sami is not the performer he was a few years ago. He's moving a lot slower, a lot clunkier. And I don't know why they would hype up a possible retirement just to pull kind of a swerve. So yeah, this may be it. If it is it, kind of unfortunate ending to go out like that. It kind of felt like we got the outcome we were always going to get. This was always going to be the finish for Sami. He was going to lose. I just don't think we got there the way they wanted to. I think there was more to the match. Like, there was stuff that was introduced that didn't get used. Like, there was duct tape that didn't get used. There were spots that it felt like they were setting up for that they just didn't hit. And you never want to see a match end like that. But, you know, all things considered, we wish the best for Sami Callihan as well. He was a part of TNA during some dark years, and he did his best to help bring that company back above water. And I think he did a good job. I think he is one of the few reasons TNA was able to stay afloat at that time. So thank you for everything you've done for TNA, Sami. Hope your story continues the way you want it to. Tyler is saying that WWE and TKO are there to help out with their TNA deal and the streaming deal too. I mean, yes, we've seen a lot of reports, and we are actually going to put out a video maybe tomorrow or Sunday detailing what's going on with TNA, whether any of this is good, any of this is unfortunate. Is this what we want for TNA? Is this relationship with WWE good for TNA, as there are rumors that now WWE has an option to buy TNA? So time will tell how this deal is going to continue to go, but we will talk more about it here on the pod in a special episode, not a live review or anything, just something that we put together for you guys to, to think about when it comes to this TNA situation. And Tyler also saying he loves Mike Santana. He's such a talented wrestler. I agree. We here in New York have done very well when it comes to Mike. We got him for a long time in House of Glory as our world champion. So we got to see him once a month just go against some of the best talent that House of Glory can bring in. And he's just gotten so hot in TNA. He deserves to be going for the world title. He deserves to soon win the world title. And it's just always a pleasure to see a guy who bet on himself succeed and prove himself right and prove to everybody how good they are, in this case with Mike. So I'm right there with you, Tyler. I love Mike. But moving on from this match, this kind of unfortunate match, we got a quick backstage promo with Ryan Nemeth where he talks about everything going with his brother. They talk about how he lost earlier in the night in the pre-show to the hometown man. Who is that man behind that mask? And yeah, Ryan Nemeth keeping the story going as Nick Nemeth, his brother, is suspended as they have that contractual tag team title rematch against the Hardys, which could be anytime now whenever Nick comes back from his suspension. But yeah, Ryan has just absolutely nailed this role with TNA as being the annoying younger brother, being the annoying tag along who thinks he's a bigger deal than he actually is. Just great work from the Hollywood hunk, Ryan Nemeth. Moving on, back to the ring, we go to absolute chaos with this TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championship match, as the Elegance brand, the reigning champions, took on the Inspiration, Fatal Influence, and Xia Brookside and Lei Ying Lee. Now, before the match started, there was an emotional moment in the ring as we had Tommy Dreamer. I believe that was maybe Jazz. I didn't see everybody in the ring, but it was announced, Tommy Dreamer announced that they have officially re-signed Lei Ying Lee to a contract extension, hyping her up as somebody who has fought so hard to be in the position she's in, coming from China, not knowing a word of English, and just absolutely making a life for herself here, a career for herself here, and continuing to brighten her star. So very happy for Lei Ying Lee as she continues this wrestling journey she's on. She's been a fun addition to the Knockouts division, really helping bolster the division. So really cool to see that. Xia and Lei Ying Lee were joined by Masha Slamovich. Fatal Influence was joined by the Knockouts and NXT Women's Champion JC Jane. The Elegance brand didn't have Ash by Elegance in the match. They were defending this under Elegance rules, which means I guess they were freebirding it. And the Inspiration had Mara Sade, formerly Jakara Jackson from NXT. So this was, we had a lot going on in this match to the point that it was kind of hard to follow everything. There was, of course, shenanigans as we saw all of the women's teams' thirds get involved up until the point that they were thrown out of the match. There were some fun bits where the Inspiration really capitalized on their tag team maneuvers, and just the timing for some of these moves were absolutely great, following a massive top rope turnbuckle drop leading to a superplex. Just some great stuff. At the end of it, though, it was the Inspiration who were setting up Heather for the Idolizer, but M was able to knock Cassie Lee out with the title belt while the ref didn't see it, and that led to the 1, 2, 3 and the retention of the Knockouts tag team titles by the Elegance brand. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was terrified. I was genuinely scared that we were going to see Fatal Influence take the tag titles. And if they did, and NXT took even more TNA gold, I might have cried. But thankfully, we're able to avoid it. Really fun matchup. Like I said, very, very, very chaotic. But it was a great way of getting so many women on the show, and I guess they just didn't intend on doing much more. The TNA Knockouts title was not defended. JC Jane did not defend the title. They didn't have Masha in the match. So, kind of a weird move from TNA, a company so well known for utilizing and highlighting their women. But if you're only going to get one match, having 2, 4, 6, 8, plus all their thirds get involved, not a bad way to do it. Not the best, but not a bad way of doing it. Immediately following this, and I apologize, I didn't put a ticker for this. We go to a backstage promo where Indy Hartwell, who won her match in the pre-show against Rosemary, talks about wanting the Knockouts Championship. She's flanked by Dani Luna, who thought that the two of them make a good team. While Hartwell appreciates the help, she told Luna that if she's going to win the Knockouts title, she wants to do it on her own and prove that she could do it on her own. If we're getting a Dani Luna heel run, I'm not going to be happy about it. I'm not going to be thrilled with it, but I am just happy that they are doing stuff with Dani Luna. Now, I am going to ask you guys, because I have been falling a little bit behind here and there, what happened to Jody Threat? It used to be a joke with me here on the pod, here in the Gym Pack Zone, that Spitfire, the tag team of Jody Threat and Dani Luna, were just constantly going for those Knockouts titles, no matter what was happening. So I don't remember Spitfire breaking up. I don't remember them splitting up. I don't know if something happened to Jody Threat. But if you guys know, let me know, so I don't have to waste time clicking and looking for stuff. Jorky TV. Oh, my. Guys, if you are watching right now and you are not following Jorky TV, go follow Jorky TV. One of my favorite channels here on YouTube. This is honestly a huge moment for me. I am a huge, huge fan, Jorky. I don't know what brought you over here. I don't know what caused this this crossover episode that's happening right now, but my nips are hard. I got goosebumps. Thank you so much for being here, Jorky. We love you. But moving forward, we had, what was next? Oh, see, a match that I was looking so forward to, something I was so excited for, but just totally had the wind just ripped from their sails, just absolutely had their legs kicked out from under them. A no count out, no disqualification match for the TNA International Championship as Steve Macklin, the reigning champ, took on Jake something. Now, I don't want to undersell it. This was a fun matchup. You flirting with me, Jorky? You flirting with me right now? Because the answer is yes. But Thank you so much for that. We love you too here at the Mark It Down podcast. But going back to the matchup, this was a match that I was so excited for because I love Macklin. I think this is a guy that, despite not getting a lot of love from the crowd, just consistently shows up and consistently shows out. He was the perfect first champion, the perfect inaugural champion for the international title here in TNA. And I was so happy that he won gold because I felt like he never got the right shot as the world champion. He obviously didn't fit in with the X Division championship. And they've done what they could with him in the tag title scene. Like, he had his stuff with Eric Young, and it just, none of it really was working. So him being international champion made so much sense to me. And I've been loving his reign so far. I've been loving him taking on basically all comers in just hard-hitting matchups. And no one is more hard-hitting than Jake something. Oh, Tyler, I missed it, so I will go back. Tyler saying Nick Nemeth's having a match with someone in GCW, one of the wrestlers. Oh, interesting. All right. That explains why he was suspended and you couldn't show up for this tonight. But okay, cool. Thanks for the info. Thanks for the tip there, man. Really appreciate it. But when it comes to Jake something, another guy who I just feel is so good and is so close to really just landing it and getting to that next level in TNA. He just had nowhere to go for so long. He wasn't quite ready. He's still, in my opinion, not quite ready to go for the world championship. Maybe he could get the odd Impact title match, title challenge, but he's not a guy who should be winning that title quite yet. There was a brief moment where that tag team with him and Hammerstone looked like it could have been so much, but between him getting hurt, Hammerstone getting released, that tag team just had every obstacle thrown in front of them. And I loved his time in the X Division, being this monster of a man in the X Division. This Haas. But even that, he had his legs cut out from under him as they had Moose win the X Division championship. He became the big guy in the fast guy division. And nothing against Jake something, who I really enjoy. I've got to see him live. I've got to meet him. He's a great talent. But Moose is Mr. TNA. So they weren't going to split that with something, unfortunately. So another guy who benefits so much from the international title being created and having a role in TNA. But the promise of this being a no count out, no disqualification match, kind of, we lost it. We lost all the energy and hype for it when the Baltimore street fight became a thing earlier in the night with Sami and Santana. And it was a very different match. Let me just say that. This was two different kinds of no DQ or hardcore style rules matchups. And that match utilized weapons a little bit more. This one sort of utilized the no count out a little bit more, utilized the lack of rope breaks kind of thing. That was more of a hardcore match. This was more of a no holds barred match, I guess, kind of thing. But what could have been a much hardier match, a much more impactful match, I guess kind of lost that buzz because of the Baltimore street fight that happened earlier. And it's a shame because, again, I was looking forward to this so much, but I do think these guys did make the most of what they had. They fought on the outside. They utilized the lack of rope breaks. There was a really innovative, fun spot that led to the finish, that led to the end of the match as I'm so sorry, KIA, as Macklin has Jake tied up in the ropes, going for his caught in the crosshairs, spear into the corner. He hits the first one, but Jake catches him, locks him into sort of an inverted dragon sleeper. And it was so well executed. It was so believable. For a second, I genuinely thought we had a chance of a title change. I really thought Jake had him because the lack of rope breaks meant that there was nowhere for Macklin to go. But he did fight out of it, and he hit 2 more into the crosshairs, and that led to a really strong KIA, double arm DDT, and Macklin retained. Now, that was fun. It was a fun, innovative finish. It was a great way of ending that matchup. It made Jake something look strong because it took so much to put him down. It made Macklin look resilient because he fought out of the unexpected submission. Just a great, great finish. Now, all the while throughout this matchup, we had a guest on commentary, and that guest was none other than Frankie Kazarian, the self-proclaimed king of TNA. He did a good job of explaining he doesn't really care about the international title. He respects it, but that's not where he has his eyes set. He has his eyes set elsewhere in TNA, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. He sort of spent the match kind of riding down both men, both Macklin and something, humorously, very humorously, coming up with different names, referring to Jake as a different last name every time he spoke about him. I really love when they play with his last name. I really love when you have a fun, smart heel joking about it. But as the match was nearing the end, he sort of had a confrontation with something. Something heard all of the bad comments, all the rude comments he was making. He stared him down. That led to a little bit of a distraction unintentionally from Kazarian. But after the matchup, Frankie interrupted Macklin, who was being interviewed by Gia Miller ringside. They kind of had that stare down. You couldn't really hear what they were saying because the mic wasn't on them. But then Macklin goes in the ring and he welcomes Frankie to challenge him, saying he could do it right here and now. And Frankie just left. So maybe Frankie is looking elsewhere and he doesn't actually care about going for the international title. Maybe that'll be an Impact match and not a pay-per-view match. We'll see. But Frankie's another guy who could kind of benefit from the international title. He has done everything he could do in the X division. He's won it already since being back in TNA. I don't know what the hell is going on with the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. I don't know if he accidentally cashed it in and failed. I know that Ethan Page situation happened a few months ago when it came to NXT. I don't know if TNA just doesn't want to acknowledge it anymore, but no one has talked about it. He hasn't talked about it, and I don't know what they're doing with it. Feels like a real waste what they did there. But if he's not going to go for the world title, because he hasn't, he's cost people the world title, but he just hasn't gone for it. The international title is right there, and it's kind of in his wheelhouse. So I don't know. We'll see what goes on with that. It's a little disappointing because Frankie has been doing a great job, but I don't know. Maybe they're worried about his age. Either way, it kind of feels like a bummer, at least to me. Go to the comments real quick. Back to Tyler. He says that it's Nick Nemeth versus Atticus Cogar. He says he's going to watch this match because Atticus is a dangerous wrestler. All right, cool. Let me know who wins. Let me know how it goes. I got to check out this Atticus guy. I haven't heard much about him personally. We have Devin in the comments. Devin saying he's not happy that Trick won, but at least he won clean. That's what really matters. Clean-ish, Devin. I guess he didn't technically cheat, but it didn't. It wasn't the cleanest of wins. There were some shenanigans there at the end, but we'll get into it. We're getting closer and closer to the main event. Back to Tyler real quick. Tyler saying that he's honest. That he's going to be honest. He doesn't know that he likes the name Jake something. He doesn't like his last name because it sounds weird. I agree. It worked as a joke early on. It worked as something when he was changing from being cousins with Cody Deaner. It worked when they were trying to make him a little bit more humorous. But that name is sort of limiting him, I guess. It's a fun way to get the crowd involved because they love chanting something, and there's fun things you can do with it. But I do agree it is probably the biggest thing limiting him from going to the next level as a world title contender. Jake something as your world champion doesn't really sound great. So I just don't know what you change him to. I mean, I guess he could go back to being Jake Diener. I wouldn't. Kind of just feels like who? Kind of feels a little, I don't want to say lame, but just doesn't have that much of an impact to it. So let's all brainstorm and think of what name Jake something could have as a last name. But fun matchup, fun way to get two hosses, get a meaty match going. And they really did. They really did meet it up. Moving on to more TNA gold being defended, we had the TNA World Tag Team Championships on the line as the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, defended the TNA tag titles against the Rascals, Zachary Wentz and Myron Reed. As Trey Miguel is still out hurt, we don't know how long he's going to be out. Myron Reed has always been a Rascal. He's always been part of the group. He just wasn't really part of the TNA side of things. You would see him more on the indies. You would see him more, I think, a little internationally, if I'm not mistaken. But really happy to see him here in TNA. He fits like a glove with Zachary, fits like a glove here in TNA. And again, due to unfortunate circumstances, to say the least, at the very least, we're freshening up the Rascals a bit because we have seen Wentz and Miguel go for the tag titles, win the tag titles. This is a good way of keeping that group a little fresh while dealing with something that we wish didn't happen. Going back to the comments real quick, Tyler saying, no, nothing to be sorry about, Tyler. Saying that he's new to new TNA and that he misses old TNA. I totally get it. Tyler also saying that this TNA is on fire right now, and it is. We're going to talk more about it. I promise. We've been talking about it ad nauseum here on the pod. I've made it very clear. I'm very happy for the success TNA is finding. I'm very happy for the success that TNA has reached that they haven't reached in a very long time. I was at Slammiversary here in New York. I was part of one of the largest crowds TNA has ever had and the largest crowd they've had in, I think, like 12, 13 years. It's awesome to see TNA doing so well right now. What I have an issue with, and I think people are starting to realize, unfortunately, is that this success is coming at a cost. There's a high price to pay for this success due to its partnership with WWE. And I'm going to get into it. I promise. Tyler, come check out the video. Leave a comment when I do so I know you watched it. But we're going to be getting really into the weeds of what this partnership means and what this is doing to the future of TNA. The TNA that I grew up watching, the TNA that I've been watching for many, many years, might not be the TNA we have in a year or two's time. And for some people, that's maybe a good thing. For other people, it's going to really hurt. So we're going to get into all that very soon in the next day or two here on the pod with another video. But I really do want to focus on Emergence because it was a fun show. But going back to this tag team title match, so smooth. The Rascals are such a fun team to watch. Obviously, I'm biased. The Hardys are my favorite tag team in all of professional wrestling. But these guys just worked so well together. It's very clear that there was a Hardy influence on the Rascals. Zachary Wentz hitting a fun Swanton bomb in this match. And what was probably one of my favorite sequences of the match, as Jeff had hit a big move onto Myron Reed. I believe it was like I believe he had a superplex. He hits the superplex to Myron. He's landed out. Wentz hits a big Swanton. And then he's perfectly landed out for Matt to hit a big elbow drop from the top rope. Just a great tag team sequence. We often see these kind of move sets where it'll be super kick into clothesline, into punch, or into whatever. These guys, these high-flying guys, these risk takers, these death defiers, this was their way of doing it, and it was just absolutely flawless. Just so well executed. The match saw the Rascals isolate Jeff for a good bit of it. Matt doing his best to play the hero, play the savior. The finish coming as Myron tried launching out for a flame-on cutter, which is a cutter from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring onto his opponent. But Jeff was able to block it. And it might not have been the prettiest block. It might not have been the best block. but it was freaking cool. He absolutely saved himself. He saved Myron. They landed well on the outside. Jeff did not take it. He pushed him into a twist of fate from Matt Hardy. And then they throw Myron back into the ring, and Jeff hits the patented Swanton Bomb. Often replicated, often changed up, but nothing quite like the original from Jeff Hardy. Sorry, I don't know what just happened there. If you guys lost me there for a second, I'm so sorry. So just great tag team match. Great way to go. Tonight was the first night I kind of realized, and I don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, we saw at Slammiversary that the challenge was laid out. The challenge was laid out by Bully Ray that we're going to get one last time. The Dudleys, Team 3D versus the Hardys at Bound for Glory in October. And I don't know why I had it in my head. It was a lock. It was a guarantee that the Hardys were going to go in as tag team champions. But realistically, almost the opposite. It's almost a guarantee they're not going to be the tag team champions going into that match. Because quite frankly, that match shouldn't have the tag team titles on the line. Because if you have them on the line, it kind of paints a picture of who's going to win. You kind of know that Team 3D is not going to win it and that the Hardys will retain. But if there's no title involved, either team could win that. So I think tonight was the first night that I realized there's still plenty of time between now and October. There's plenty of title matches to be had. And of course, we do know those Nemeths are just waiting for their rematch. So let's see how this goes. Sad thinking about it, but either way, going to be exciting come October in Lowell, Massachusetts. After this, and again, guys, I do apologize. I don't seem to have a ticker for it. We had another first-class penthouse with AJ Francis and Rich Swann. They spoke about being Maryland men, that they used to be Baltimore boys, but they grew up into Maryland men. They put over Baltimore for teaching heart, fire, and determination. But of course, they are the bad guys. They are the heels. And they talked about how, for all that, they didn't really achieve success until they got the hell out of there. They just needed to leave that dump. They say that Baltimore is a terrible place. And as they're just bringing down this poor, helpless city, the Ravens mascot, Poe, came out, and he does the Ray Lewis dance. As he's about to be taken out by First Class, he is backed up by the system. Alicia Edwards gets in Francis's face. Francis sort of mocks her, and then she slaps the crap out of him. That sends them leaving. That sends them very upset. And then once again, Poe hits the Ray Lewis dance, and he and the system leave, getting the crowd happy. Finally, though, going elsewhere with the system, we go to the main event as the TNA World Championship is on the line as NXT star Trick Williams defends against Mr. TNA himself, Moose. As I was just saying with the Hardys, as I was just saying with the tag team title scene, there's a long way to go till October. There's plenty that could happen where those titles change hands. This is the opposite. Yes, there is a long time till October, but we know that title isn't changing hands until October. We know Bound for Glory is where Trick Williams is going to lose that TNA title. So every match until then just feels like a waste of time. And I feel terrible saying that because this match was fun. This was two big, powerful, fast men absolutely bringing the heat to one another. Absolutely bringing the best of their respective divisions. Trick from NXT, Moose from TNA, bringing it to one another. But ultimately, all for nothing. And they did. We kind of talked about it in the comments as Devin was saying that he's happy that this was a clean win. It was clean. Trick didn't cheat, but it was clean-ish. Moose was setting up for the win, setting up for the pin, as Trick accidentally took out the referee with a trick shot. The ref is out cold. Moose, big spear, huge spear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Doesn't matter. The ref is just down. Moose then gets buckle bombed by Trick. Hits a trick shot. 1, 2. The ref came up for it, but it wasn't enough to put Moose down. Action continues. Moose goes for a spear. Trick dodges it and Moose hits the ring post. He then hits Trick then hits Moose with another trick shot, puts him down. He gets back up, Moose, only to be put down by a second and I guess technically third trick shot, allowing Trick Williams to get the 1, 2, 3, the win, and retaining the TNA World Championship. I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be a hater. And I know so many people love this. But my God, your world championship is in the hands of a developmental star. And he's winning against your top talent. He's beaten now. And granted, most of these, some of these, all of these, however many of these, there was shenanigans in some form or another. But at this point, he's taken the title off of Joe Hendry. He successfully defended the title against Hendry and Santana. He's successfully now defended the title against Moose. These are your biggest stars in TNA, and he's beating them. I know it's about the story. I know it's about the journey. Santana is going to win in Massachusetts. If he doesn't, I'm going to have a migraine. I don't want to be dramatic, so we'll just call it a migraine. It's a shame. To me, this is a shame. But if people are happy, if this is bringing eyes to TNA, as we've been talking about, it's a battle of perception versus visibility. Would you rather be seen by as many eyes, but not look great and look like a feeder to WWE? Or would you rather be seen less by a smaller audience, but retain, as Gail Kim talked about in her tweet today, retain the heart of what made you the company that you were? These are the questions at hand right now. These are the things that are frustrating some fans and exciting others, mostly in the former category, not the latter, but I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. If people are happy, that's great. If TNA talent is happy, that's great. But as a TNA fan, oh boy, this is a rough time. But guys, that was Emergence. Thank you so much for joining me. Tyler saying he thinks this is why WWE is going to buy TNA soon. Look, as I spoke a little bit earlier, it's a very real possibility. It's been reported now that WWE does have the option to buy TNA. Personally, that doesn't make me happy. I want wrestling to be as open a market as possible. I want professional wrestling to have as many options as possible for the wrestlers to go work at, for the fans to watch, and for the overall wrestling scene to be healthy. It's a good thing that there are so many different places to watch wrestling, to wrestle at, to be a part of the community for. If I'm not too thrilled with what WWE is doing on Monday or Friday or Tuesday, I could watch AEW on Wednesday or Saturday. I could watch TNA on Thursday. That's the benefit of having so many options. And nobody's saying you have to like every option. Nobody's saying you have to watch every option. But the fact that I have options is fantastic. The wrestling scene has not been this diverse in years. Years. We haven't had this many high-profile options to watch. And the fact that one of them might be going away because they're going to get absorbed and then used as a division of another one doesn't make me happy. It's something that should be concerning all wrestling fans. But like I said, that's for another video. We will get into it soon, I promise. Tyler agreeing with me. Tyler, I appreciate it. I hope I don't just sound like Chicken Little screaming that the sky is falling. I promise. I promise. I feel like I see this a little more clearly than some people allowing themselves to. So happy to have you on my side there, Tyler. Tyler saying, imagine if Moose gets to attack all the wrestlers on the main roster. That would be so cool. It'd be so cool to see someone like Moose mixing it up with main roster WWE talent. People like Roman, people like Seth, people like former TNA star LA Knight, people like former TNA star AJ Styles. There are so many cool options for him to wrestle on the main roster, but that's part of the problem that I have with this partnership. It's TNA mixing it up with NXT. It's very clear that WWE is making a statement that TNA is not above a certain level for them, and that level is NXT. And that's not a degradation of NXT. NXT has some incredible talent. One of the best, if not the best, women's rosters in professional wrestling right now. One of the coolest world champions in Oba Femi. So much talent in NXT. That's not the point. The point is they're developmental. WWE treats them as a step below main roster. So if the best that TNA can do is be on the level of a step below the main roster, how am I supposed to view them? How am I supposed to look at that company? How am I supposed to look at that roster, all that talent? So something to think about, guys. But look, thank you so much. You guys joined me here on a Friday night, now a Saturday morning. So much so it's Saturday. I got to tell you, if you guys are watching, if you guys are here, please leave a comment. If you're watching, old man, this is for you. Happy birthday, Dad. I love you. I love you. I love you. We're going to have a great day today. Thank you for being awesome, big guy. But guys, thank you guys for being awesome as well. I'm very tired. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. But thank you for joining me as we talk about TNA Emergence. If you have any other comments, please leave them in. We'll get to them. We'll talk about it. Thank you so much for joining us. You know the deal. I said it in the beginning of the video too. We're all over social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Blue Sky, all of them. Go check us out there. We're putting some fun stuff up. Some of the us were at the Peacemaker premiere this last week. That was cool getting to see John Cena, getting to see the season 2 premiere of Peacemaker. That was a lot of fun. You can check out those details, that stuff on our social media. If you're watching us on YouTube and you're a regular, thank you so much for sticking with us. We love you. We're getting bigger. We're having more fun, and we're having some fun opportunities coming up soon. I know I've been saying it. I know I've been teasing it, but it's true. Some fun stuff is coming. And if you're new, if you're just joining us for the first time, thank you. Don't know what brought you here, but we're happy to have you. This is a fun party to be a part of. This is a fun community to be a part of. And we're here every night of the week. We're here for WWE. We're here for AEW. We're here for TNA, for the big stuff for Ring of Honor, for the big stuff for New Japan, and for some of the big indie stuff, whether it's GCW or MLW or House of Glory or Northeast Wrestling. If you have an indie you want us to cover, let us know. We would love to. Guys, I'm James Chisanti. This is the Mark It Down podcast. When we cover TNA, this is the Gym Pack Zone. I hope you guys have a good night / good morning. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night, everybody. And I think this is going to play the outro. We'll see.